Days of Our Lives fans, if you're still catching your breath after that March 19th episode, you're not alone. Salem didn't just deliver drama today, it detonated. Want the full, pulse-pounding rundown of what went down? Grab your popcorn, hit play on our exclusive video recap, and settle in, because this one is going to leave you replaying every single frame in your head for days. From a vengeance-fueled shootout that left blood on the pavement to interrogation rooms crackling with half-truths and a marriage, teetering on the edge of collapse. Today's hour felt like the writers took every simmering grudge in Salem and lit the fuse. Let's dive deep into the chaos, the lies, and the jaw-dropping twists that have us screaming at our screens. It all started with that chilling sense of inevitability hanging over Liam like a storm cloud that refused to break. For weeks, maybe months, the air around him had grown thicker with the feeling of eyes watching from the shadows. We've seen Liam navigate the cutthroat world of the DiMera Empire and the tangled webs of Salem's elite, but nothing prepared him for the relentless stalker who turned out to be none other than Klaus. This wasn't some random obsessed fan or a fleeting threat. Klaus carried the kind of cold, calculated rage that only comes from deep betrayal. He wanted Liam gone permanently. Fans who followed the show know how personal these vendettas get. In Salem, Klaus had been tracking Liam's every move with the precision of a predator who'd studied his prey for far too long. He always had that gun tucked close ready, waiting for the perfect moment to end the man he blamed for ruining his life. But Salem rarely lets a villain strike without throwing in a heroic intervention, and today that came in the form of JJ and Sean. Just as Klaus closed in, those two burst onto the scene like avenging angels with badges. The confrontation that followed was pure Days of Our Lives gold raw, visceral, and terrifyingly real. Liam cornered and furious finally faced his stalker head-on. "You think you can just erase me?" Liam spat, voice laced with the kind of defiance only a man who's survived DiMera-level schemes could muster. Klaus didn't back down. He wanted answers. He wanted blood. He wanted Liam to pay for whatever betrayal had sparked this nightmare, whether it was a business, double-cross, a stolen love, or something even darker that the show has been hinting at for months. The tension ratcheted up so fast you could feel it through the voices rose, accusations flew, and then in a heartbeat guns were drawn. The sound of those first shots cracked through the air like thunder. Chaos erupted in every direction, people diving for cover, screams echoing off the walls, the kind of pandemonium that makes you wonder how anyone walks away breathing. JJ and Sean moved like the trained professionals they are, trying to de-escalate while protecting Liam, but Klaus was beyond reason. He fired wildly driven by that all-consuming need for revenge. Bullets ricocheted, glass shattered, and in the whirlwind of smoke and panic, the unthinkable happened. Sean took a hit, blood blooming across his shirt as he staggered back. The gasp that went through the audience at home was audible. Sean, one of Salem's steadfast good guys, wounded in the line of duty. But the real shock came seconds later when Klaus crumpled to the decked ground, lifeless. One final shot rang out, and just like that, the stalker who had terrorized Liam was gone, shot dead in a blaze of gunfire that left everyone reeling. Was it self-defense, a tragic accident, or something more calculated? The episode cut away on that cliffhanger image of Sean, clutching his side while Liam stared at the body, face pale with the weight of what had just unfolded. We know this isn't the end of the story. Salem doesn't let bodies hit the pavement without ripple effects that will haunt every character for months. Expect investigations, guilt, and maybe even a few characters questioning whether they pulled the trigger on purpose. This shootout wasn't just action, it was the explosive payoff to a stalking arc that had been building unbearable pressure, and the fallout is going to be devastating. Meanwhile, across town in a completely different kind of pressure cooker, Leo and Dimitri were sweating bullets of their own, but the kind that come from fluorescent lights and uncomfortable questions, rather than actual firearms. They found themselves in Andrew's office, forced to justify every shady move they'd made lately. Andrew, ever the calm but razor-sharp investigator, laid out a mountain of intelligence that had them both shifting in their seats. Most of it lined up with the stories they'd been spinning. But then came the bombshell that changed everything, the Fingerprints they'd been chasing belonged to Dimitri. DNA tests were still running, but the match was already raising eyebrows high enough to touch the Salem skyline. Leo, ever the quick-witted survivor, tried to play it cool. "That's it, right? We can go home now," he asked, voice dripping with that signature sarcasm that hides his panic. But Dimitri wasn't buying the easy out. "It's not enough," he growled, eyes narrowing as he calculated every possible angle. He knows how Salem justice works, half-proofs and lingering. Suspicions can destroy lives. Andrew wasn't done yet. He dropped another piece of the puzzle. A chef who had been on the premises confirmed Dimitri's alibi in chilling detail. The woman's testimony matched what Dimitri had claimed, right down to the timing and the location. Dimitri leaned forward, pressing hard. Did she say who hired her? The question hung in the air like a guillotine. Andrew shook his head. No name, no direct link. But Dimitri, thinking 3 steps ahead as always, fired back with the kind of cold logic that makes him so dangerous. Track the money, follow the payments, and it'll lead straight to Gwen. The room went quiet. Leo and Dimitri exchanged a look that screamed they thought they were finally in the clear. Freedom felt close enough to taste. Yet Andrew had one more grenade to lob. Vivian and Ivan were missing, vanished without a trace. And the finger of suspicion was pointing squarely at Dimitri as the prime culprit. Whispers of wrongdoing swirled, kidnapping. Worse, the kind of accusations that could send even a DiMera spiraling. Dimitri's face hardened into that trademark mask of indignation. "I had nothing to do with it," he insisted, voice steady but laced with the kind of fury that promises he'll burn down half of Salem to prove his innocence. "I'll clear this up myself if I have to." The episode left them right there, on the knife's edge, partially vindicated but still trapped under the weight of missing persons and mounting evidence. Fans know this storyline is far from over. The DiMera name alone guarantees layers of deception, family betrayals, and shocking reveals that will keep us glued to our TVs. And just when you thought the drama couldn't get more personal, the show turned its spotlight on one of Salem's most beloved and complicated marriages. Paulina has been guarding a secret that's been eating her alive. She's still hiding Lexi from Abe. Yes, that Lexi. The one whose very existence could shatter the fragile trust they've rebuilt after so many storms. Paulina's been carrying this burden in silence, smiling through family dinners while the truth festers like an open wound. We've watched Abe and Paulina weather everything from corporate takeovers to health scares. But this is the kind of bombshell that doesn't just crack a marriage, it could obliterate it. Sooner or later, Abe is going to find out. The show has been planting the seeds for weeks, stolen glances, evasive answers, Paulina's growing guilt. When the truth explodes, and it will, the fallout will be nuclear. Will Abe forgive the woman who kept his own flesh and blood from him, or will this be the lie that finally breaks them? The emotional stakes here are sky high. And today's subtle but devastating hints left viewers aching for the characters we've come to love like family. Then there's EJ, because what would a Days of Our Lives episode be without a DiMera stirring the pot in the most unpredictable way possible? He showed up on Gwen's doorstep with that signature smirk and an offer or threat wrapped in velvet. The details of his plan remain deliciously mysterious. But one thing is crystal clear when a DiMera gets involved. Simplicity dies a quick death. EJ doesn't do anything halfway. Is this about revenge, a business alliance, or something far more twisted that ties back to the chaos already swirling around Dimitri? And the rest of the family, Gwen, no stranger to playing with fire, looked equal parts intrigued and wary. Their scenes crackled with that electric tension the show does so. Well, old wounds reopening, new temptations dangling, and the constant undercurrent that nothing is ever what it seems. When the DiMera name is attached, we're left wondering what game is EJ really playing? And how many lives will it upend before the credits roll? From the blood-soaked pavement of that heart-stopping shootout to the interrogation room where truth and lies danced a dangerous tango, to the quiet devastation brewing in Paulina and Abe's home, and the shadowy maneuvers of EJ. Today's episode was a masterclass in why we keep coming back to Salem. Every storyline fed into the next, building a web so intricate that one wrong move could bring the whole town crashing down. Klaus is dead, but his revenge lingers like a ghost. Sean is wounded, forcing us to worry about one of our favorite heroes. Dimitri sits under a cloud of suspicion that could swallow him whole. Paulina's secret is a ticking time bomb. And EJ is being EJ, plotting in the shadows with that DiMera flair that promises nothing but fireworks. If your heart is still racing, you're in good company. This March 19th installment reminded us why Days of Our Lives has endured for decades. It doesn't just tell stories, it rips open emotions, forces characters to confront their darkest secrets, and leaves us begging for tomorrow. The shootout alone will be talked about for weeks, but it's the quieter moments, the lies Paulina is clutching, the money trail Dimitri is desperate to expose, the surprise visit from EJ that will echo the loudest in the long run. Marriages will be tested, alliances will shatter, and somewhere in the middle of it all, justice, love, and revenge will collide in ways only Salem can deliver. So, what are you waiting for? Head over to our video right now for every single gasp-worthy detail we couldn't fit into words. Rewind those gunshots, analyze every glance between Leo and Dimitri, and speculate with us about what Paulina's secret will do to Abe. Because in Salem, nothing ever stays buried for long, and the next episode is already promising to turn today's explosions into tomorrow's full-blown wars. We'll see you there, friends. Until then, stay dramatic, stay loyal, and never underestimate a DiMera with a plan. Salem has spoken, and it was loud.